2026. Welcome to a brand new day of learning. I hope you slept well. And don't forget your exam is close by, so get ready. Last week and earlier this week, we started with conflict and cooperation. We've talked about conflict, we've talked about cooperation. I've tried to explain the difference between conflict and cooperation. And I tried to tell you that conflict is basically a disagreement, okay, between two or more interested parties. And once there is an absence or a proper management of conflict, it leads to cooperation. Now, today we are talking about international conflicts. International conflicts, as a term on its own, is very, very straightforward. The word international indicates beyond a particular border of a country. Beyond the borders of a country, once you step out of that country, you have gone international. Even if the country you are stepping into is the next one, it is international because you have stepped across the border of a particular country. And the word conflict deals basically with what? Disagreements. And so today we are talking about what? Disagreement on an international scale. International conflicts and disagreements refer to the lack of agreement between two or more nations. When you're talking about international conflict, it has to do with what? A disagreement between two or more nations, or a lack of agreement, a lack of cooperation. That's what we're talking about international conflict. Now, no nation can stand alone. Remember I quoted I think Socrates to you when I said what? No man lives alone in the world or in the society. If he does that, he's either a beast or a god. And we are not beasts, we are not gods. So we must learn to exist with people around us. Same thing with nations. Nations cannot live alone. They cannot stand alone. Even reclusive nations like North Korea. North Korea is a country that is so locked up within itself that it barely trades with other countries, but still it engages in trade with its two major partners, China and Russia. So, no nation can stand alone. Nations interact with one another on account of different things: religion, sports, politics, trading with each other, etc. Nations must interact in order to survive. They must interact. It is in this process of this interaction, the process of interaction, that disagreements begin to occur. And if these disagreements are not handled properly, it may lead to large-scale conflicts like wars, blockades, trade embargoes, etc. between nations. The word blockade might sound a little bit far-fetched or a little bit confusing to you, but blockades essentially mean trying to stop a country from engaging in trade or movements or easy movement with countries around it. And an example of an ongoing blockade is that which was imposed on Qatar. Qatar is a country in the United Arab Emirates. Qatar was blockaded is being blockaded by Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and one of these countries in the Middle East. Let's leave it like that. So, let's go to questions of international conflicts. There are many reasons why international conflicts take place. Some of them are differences in trade policies. These differences in trade policies has led to a trade war, an ongoing trade war between the United States of America and the People's Republic of China. Differences in trade policies. Because of this particular the trade policies of US and the trade policies of China, they are having issues. So, that is one aspect of it because of international trade. Boundary disputes between neighboring countries are also one of them. Boundary disputes. Okay, we talked about differences in trade policies. Now we are talking about boundary disputes between neighboring countries. When we talk about boundary disputes, we know that a boundary is like where a country ends in its land borders of that particular country. Another cause of international conflicts is political control of a country. Sometimes, or certain situations, we'll see that two or more countries are fighting to gain political control of a particular country. Let's use the example of Syria. Syria is a country in the eastern part of Asia that has faced more than 14 to 15 years of civil war. The political actors of that war are the United States of America and Iran and Russia. These are major countries fighting to gain political control of the country. So this thing can lead to international conflicts. Another one again is scramble for natural resources. A lot of countries are blessed with natural resources. So there's a scramble for natural resources by other countries in our particular country. Let's use our country for an example. For example, China. China is very interested in Nigeria because of our natural resources. China as a country has very few natural resources, but we have so much. Blessed by God, we have oil, we have natural gas, we have wood, we have agriculture, so many things. And so China right now is scrambling to come and get some of these resources to use in their country. And with that, it leads to international conflict between China, Nigeria, and some other countries involved. Cases of international conflict. I listed some cases of international conflict here that you can go and read up and find out how you think they can be solved or what is their cause, or to even get to know, just have a knowledge about them. The conflict between North Korea and South Korea over political control of the Korean Peninsula is a very good example of an international conflict. The conflict between Israel and the Palestine over control of the Gaza Strip and the annexation of the West Bank is a good one too. The trade war between the United States of America and the People's Republic of China over unfair trade practices and economic policies is another good one. Look at the solutions. International laws that support unity and punish state crimes should be enacted and enforced. An example of a state crime is the unlawful annexation of the region of Crimea in Ukraine by the Russian Federation. This happened sometime in 2014 or so, or 2015. It is a crime that has not been punished till now. International organizations like the United Nations, that is the UN, the AU, that's the African Union, EU, the European Union, etc., should sanction erring leaders who feel they are above the laws of their individual countries. There should be a balance of trade among nations, as this boosts confidence of partnerships and fosters unity between and among trading nations. Okay, now I have taken my time to read up the whole notes and try to summarize as much as possible as the time limit will permit me. But I want you to try as much as possible to read up some of these cases of international conflict. Just get your phone, Google it, and you'll find out that a lot of these things are caused by basically lack of what? Understanding, lack of tolerance, political control, differences in trade policies. These are some of the things that cause international conflicts. And when, like I told you before, when we learn, when we disagree, and then we agree, we would cooperate very well. As individuals, as nations, we must always have a dispute with other people. But in that dispute, we have to learn to what? Agree. So we can cooperate for the greater good of everyone. Thank you for listening to this class. God bless you.